So when you look at the Great Depression, in Atlantic Canada, I believe the statistic was 60% of people were out of work. And that was compared to 32% across the rest of Canada. So you can see how we were pretty heavily impacted. We were major exporters. And if nobody's buying, then our economy collapses. What the Canadian government did was they developed these programs in order to get people working. A part of that was let's build roads. It's going to inject money into the local economies. It's going to keep people working, and it's going to provide tangible benefits for the country moving forward. And so a lot of those first highways were as a result of just these work programs, essentially, where they would go out and see all this unemployment and say, we need to get our people out and being productive. And as you can see, it ended up being a tremendous boon to the nation. That being said, you didn't see the kind of massive recovery in the economies until, of course, the Second World War.
It's interesting to me when you look at our history, because you'll hear me say this all the time, that really trucking is the backbone of society, right? Everything we need to survive, medicine, food, energy, clothing, all those things, all the things that we rely on that really make our way of life possible today is all interconnected and because of the trucking industry. But when you go back into our history, and you can really see how the trucking industry was such an integral part of the development of what we now get to benefit from 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 years later.
Well, and that was one of the things that I found really interesting was during my research finding there's over 500,000 trucking jobs directly related to trucking in Canada. There's consumer and food goods. 90% of every consumer and food good in Canada at some point is traveling on a truck. When you see that kind of stuff, you realize just how important the industry is to the rest of Canada.
I think a lot of people who aren't in the industry, it's kind of invisible to them, right? For them, the only interaction they have with the trucking industry is maybe passing a truck and on the highway, or getting stuck behind a truck on a snowy day and cursing that transport truck for splashing them with snow and rain. But the reality is that everything that we come to rely on comes on a truck.